I finally did it. After many hours, many attempts, I beat the Blood of the Dead Easter egg. This is pretty awesome, and it was not easy, but it was also not the most impossible thing in the world. What it really took was just a lot of trial and error and a lot of attempts, because Blood of the Dead is a very specific Easter egg. And what I mean by that is every step has these little tiny nuances that are very important. And if you get one little tiny thing wrong, then it won't work properly. So I had a lot of attempts where I was just learning what works and what doesn't, in terms of like what order you have to do everything and little extra things you have to do. Something as simple as like, I forgot to interact with the ghost after I shocked it in the infirmary, or little things like that, or I forgot to enter the code so I couldn't get the spoon. But anyways, basically I started off just doing the usual stuff, building the shield, turning on the power, and trying to fill up that shield as soon as possible. That became one of the most tricky things, one of the most challenging things about this Easter egg is you constantly have to have a full shield. You have to be getting more and more shield blasts all the time. And you get that from zombies, obviously, but keeping an eye out for the shock boxes on the wall is crucially important. That was a lifesaver in many situations. And so I'm getting my Hell's Retriever at this point. And that's another thing, is sometimes I would get the monkey bombs and then I would forget to pick my Hell's Retriever back up for the bird step, and then I would get my blood, zombie blood, and I would not be able to retrieve the Crenorium at the end. So I'd have to redo the last step of the bird step. So all that kind of stuff. So here what I'm doing is getting all the skulls to get the Blundergat. And I tried to do this Easter egg with just the regular Blundergat, but it was too difficult. So I ended up going with the Magma Gat. I just found that to be the best weapon. It was a lifesaver. I couldn't really function without it. And as my backup, in the attempt where I actually succeeded, I had a ray gun, just a regular ray gun, Pack-a-Punched, which was fine. It worked great. You just got to be a little careful with it. So weapons are really not a problem in this Easter egg. You can get good weapons very easily. You can get the wonder weapon on round 5 or even earlier. Yeah, so the first part of the Easter egg, once you've done it a bunch, is pretty easy. Just pretty standard stuff at this point. Get your shield, get your Blundergat, and try to get those monkey bombs as soon as possible so that you can get you can open up the wall. And I like the fact that you can start that step so early, because I think in the early days of this map, you couldn't, nobody knew how to do that, so you'd have to wait until round 15 or something crazy. So I'm glad you can start that on a low round, because round inflation, having the rounds go too high, up into the 25 and 30 range, was another thing that made it tricky. If you're more efficient and you can get these steps done on a lower round, that's crucially important. It's so much easier. When it was around 30, 35, I was struggling just to stay alive, never mind to complete the Easter egg steps and the challenges. A lot of those challenges are so much easier on a lower round. So here I am starting the bird step on round 14, but keep in mind this is gameplay from earlier attempts. I didn't record a lot of the gameplay from my actual final attempt, where I started the bird step on round 8 or 9, which is a big difference. So the bird step, like I talked about in my previous video, can be a little tricky, but if you know what you're doing, it's not too bad. Just watch for that beam in the sky. I was able to see it both times. In this case, it went off to the right. If you keep an eye out for it, you can tell exactly where the bird's going. Makes it a lot easier. So the bird step at this point, after doing it so many times, is really not a big deal. And there's the final bird location. So this is all just pretty easy stuff. Honestly, I've completed the bird step now many times. The challenging part is the challenges. And they're called challenges for a reason. They're tricky. So I want to showcase and talk about some of these challenges. Some of them are easier than others. There's 5 challenges you have to do. And so the first one I'm going to show is the Morse code step. And it is difficult if you're a newer player, you don't know what you're doing. But I found some things that make this step so much easier. So the basic stuff that I've learned from other videos is, use the zombie blood and use your level 3 shield to go invisible. Level 3 special weapon. That helps a lot. You can buy yourself some extra time. But honestly, the thing that helped me so much with the Morse code step is I figured out it always starts with a 1 or a 2 in Morse code. And once I knew that, it was so easy. You just type in your 1, This usually starts with a 1. And then you just start doing dots after that. As soon as you hit a point where you get the warden laughing, you know what the number is. You really do not have to fail that step more than twice. So you can get them. I'm going to make another video about the Morse code step, but it's so much easier than I thought. So, and then for the Morse code, you have to kill that zombie in the infirmary. You do have to interact with it and kill zombies, and then lead it down to the docks. And like I had showed there, taking it down the gondola is so much faster than walking it all the way down. And then this step right here, the New Industries one, this is honestly the toughest challenge for me. You have to kill a zombie in the D block area here, the old spawn location for Mob of the Dead, and you have to have so many shield blasts. That's why this is challenging. You have a limited amount of time to blast this guy 4 or 5 times. So what I ended up doing is, so in this clip right here, it's a little tricky because round 22 just started. I'm in the middle of a round. I just ran out of shield blasts. I don't have enough shield blasts. So not only am I trying to survive, but I'm trying to fill up my shield quickly enough so that I can chase this guy, find the spoon, shock him, and I barely made it. In this one, I had to collect zombie souls mid-round, and you can see how chaotic it is. I finally made it, but there was another attempt after this where I did it so much differently. It was like a night and day difference. So this one, I'm scrambling right to the end, and this guy turns red like 2 seconds before entering the trap. Absolutely insane. To make this easier, just make sure you have more shield blasts before you start this round. This challenge. Have a full shield. And make sure you save a few zombies at the end of a round. Don't try to do it during a round because it's trickier. It can be done, obviously, as I've shown, but man, it's tough. So that's one way to do it. The better way to do it, honestly, is have a full shield. Obviously, save about 6 or 7 zombies at the end of the round. Kill your zombie. Shield blast him. And he moves around, so you gotta find him. And then start shocking him. And then you have, like I said, save 6 or 7 zombies so that you can, right here, fill up your shield. So now I'm back up to 4 shield blasts. And having Winter's Wail, so helpful, because those zombies will freeze in place for like 15 seconds, so you can just focus on shocking this guy. So I've already blasted him twice. I have 3 more blasts in my shield. There's only like a handful of zombies, like 2-3 zombies left in this round, so it's so easy. Especially with that Winter's Wail in my modifier slot, I have 4 like frost charges or whatever. So I can just focus on this guy the whole time. Zombies swipe at me a couple times, they'll be frozen for 15 seconds or maybe even more. And I got this thing done so fast. Like, this is the way to do it. If you're going to do this challenge, this Easter egg can go from really hard to really easy. If you know what you're doing, you plan it out. And keep an eye out for the shock boxes on the wall. I think I counted out there's 11 of them, and it seems like every second round you get one. Like, they're way more common than I thought. So anyways, again, showcasing the usefulness of Winter's Wail. And I just need to shock this guy. I don't even need to shock him again. He's done. Like right here, he's already fully red. And I'm not even down the stairs yet on this catwalk. Like, that's the difference it makes when you're prepared for these challenges. So that's the key thing with this Easter egg, is be prepared, do a lot of attempts, understand the nuances, and it really does become easy. It's not a hard Easter egg. There's a lot of steps, though. It is a little bit lengthy. Like, I think it's longer than the other Easter eggs on BO4. But anyways, this step here is one of the easier ones. Again, if you're prepared with your weapons, just interact with the banjo guy and just kill zombies in the circle. If you have good weapons and you have a special weapon, you're good to go. This one, the Michigan challenge, where you gotta kill a zombie in the cafeteria and shock him. Again, just like the showers challenge, very easy. You can fail this one if you're not paying close enough attention, because they will chase this guy relentlessly. So you gotta, this is where this weapon really shines. This Magmagat, because you can lead the zombies away from this guy. Another thing that I didn't showcase here, but it's really helpful, is the one elixir that I have. I think it's called Now You See Me. The zombies will chase you under normal circumstances, but when you take that elixir during that step, they'll chase neither you nor the ghost. So you buy yourself 15 seconds of time. It's awesome. And this one is the Simon Says challenge. This one just requires focus. It's really not a hard challenge. You just got to save a zombie. You do have to have like 5 shield blasts for this challenge, though. So again, look for the shock boxes, have a full shield, shock the number pad, shock the portal thingy, head down here, do your Simon Says. So I just ran in a circle here so that you can see all 5 of these. And the best way to do this is to memorize, like number each of them in your head and know which number is which. So for me, for example, this one's number 3. That one's number 2. So I know exactly which numbers they are. So as you see what they are, just, it's like 1, 3, 4 or whatever, just memorize them, hit them, and it's really simple. The only way you can really fail is if you're not paying attention. You don't like run around the room fast enough to see which ones are lighting up. Yeah, so again, this is one of those steps that can be really hard if you're new at it, but if you're experienced at it, if you've done it even a couple of times, you know what to expect. They stay on for actually longer than you would think. Like you have a lot of time to see what each one is. So yeah, like any challenge, it's hard at first, but you get better at it and it gets easier. And of course, when I was done, you got to watch at the end, especially because there's 3 that are going to light up and you only have like 5 seconds to see what they are. So you really have to pay attention at the end. And then you got to grab the punch card, which, of course, in this gameplay, I forgot, and I spent like 5 minutes going back to the spawn area trying to do the computers, and I forgot to grab the punch card. So anyways, pay close attention to what your 3 numbers are. Make sure to remember to grab the punch card. And then you can head up to the spawn and do the thing with the computers. And at that point, again, you should have something memorized, like know which one is which. I know which numbers on these generators here, on these panels, I know which numbers correspond to which symbols. So it's very easy. For me, at the end, I think it was 3, 4, and 5, according to my number system. Now, there's a lot of people that have different numbering systems, but so when you see that they're lit up, 3, 4, 5, then so there it is, number 4, number 5, and number 6. That's what it was, number 4, 5, 6. So now I know. Just got to head up to the spawn. So grab the punch card, head up to the spawn, enter 4, 5, 6. So this one, it can be confusing, but if you've memorized what they are, it's so easy. That one's number 2. So that's number 5. So that's 6. So 6 turns into B. 4 turns into C. And that's number 1. That's number 2. That's number 5. 5 turns into A. So there we go. A, B, C. That's how simple it is. Now at this point, I only have 2 shield blasts, so I can't shock A, B, and C. So I'll have to do 2 shield blasts here, and then next round, I'll have to complete the 3rd one. So I'm doing B and A right now. So there's B, there's A, and then I have to literally just like wait. So that I actually killed the zombie by accident on one of my shield blasts. I was frantically checking all the shock boxes to see if any were lit up. And there weren't any at first, but at the end of the round I checked, and there was one here. So that's a lifesaver. There's actually, during the round, I forgot to collect more zombie souls. So long story short, found a shock box, filled up my shield, and there we go. I shocked him on his way to C, and I got the orb. So that one has multiple steps to it, but again, just know what you're doing. Memorize your numbering system and your symbols, and it's easy. So put the orb on the thing, on the map, interact with Chronorum, and then we go into the cutscene. This was my first time ever seeing this cutscene. I was pretty excited at this point. And thankfully, the boss fight on this map is actually super easy. Like, this is my first ever boss fight attempt, and I beat it. Like, really, I'm thankful for that. Because some maps, they have a really challenging boss fight, like Gorod Krovi or something, and I failed that boss fight. How many times? Like, many, many times. But this one, super easy. Just pick up your stuff, go to the spawn area, fill up your shield with some dogs on the way if you need to. You don't even need a full shield. You need a mostly full shield for the ending part, but it's good to have a full shield. So I'll interact with this thing after you've grabbed the orb. That's kind of cool that opens up. Very neat. Head up the stairs, head into the boss fight. Pretty easy stuff at this point. You just gotta run around, kill everything that there is to kill, grab the max ammo and carpenter that spawns, and then shoot the 3 orbs. Really nothing difficult to buy. I suppose if you were slow, you're slowly getting killed there, so you would take damage, and you could go down at that point. But I just quickly shot the orbs inside this circle there, and then I shocked this thing, and I feel like you're supposed to have to do that 3 times, but I feel like I only had to do it twice. Anyways, this is the 2nd time right here, so just watch those spots on the ground. I actually almost died there, I guess, but just don't step on those spots on the ground. and then you're good to go. So that was the second time shocking it, and then Richtofen comes out. The bot spawns in to do his thing. And I thought I was going to have to do that one more time, but I only had to do it twice. So the boss fight was actually easier than I thought. Kill everything, grab the Max Ammo Carpenter, shoot the orbs, rinse and repeat. And then at this point, there's nothing to really do. Just survive for a minute until the other Richtofen comes out, and then you're good to go. So that's that. This was a big victory, completing this Easter egg. I really enjoy it. Honestly, I love a challenge. And for whatever reason, this Easter egg was just really challenging for me. But the difficulty, like I said, is not actually because it's hard. It's just actually because it's very technical. There's a lot of nuances. Once I learned all those and learned how to be prepared, especially making sure your shield is always full of blasts, then you're good to go. Now, knowing what I know, this Easter egg is not that hard, and I could do it again. It was just quite a journey. It's quite a learning curve, to be honest, with this one. Super easy boss fight again. Grateful for that. And that's that. I'm going to be making more videos on the other Easter eggs in BO4 and BO3 as I complete them, and just, I want to just get better at these Easter eggs and become a better zombies player. To me, that's kind of an achievement in your zombies as a zombies player, just to be able to beat all these Easter eggs solo, and that's what I'm working towards. So yeah, that's what I really enjoy doing. I like making videos about them. So this was fun. If you haven't done the Blood of the Dead Easter egg, I would encourage it. It's very fun. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.